Hi there. My name is Shannon, and this is my YouTube channel. If you're a normal subscriber to my channel, you were probably expecting to go into a musical montage. And you're not wrong, that's going to happen. But first, I just wanted to kind of give you a little introduction into what's going to happen in this video. I'm feeling kind of productive today. When I first started doing these videos, it's only been a couple months, but among the first few, I was still working at my job, and I made a small list of things that I like about myself. And I kind of want to expand upon that today and add a few more to that list. So hopefully you're willing to come along with me today as I talk about myself a little more and get some stuff done around my house. I want to take a break from untangling this hose that I've been working on for a long time. I don't know I don't know how she managed to get it this bad, but it's taking up a good portion of my afternoon to get it untangled. So why don't we talk about the first thing on my list? The first thing I wrote down, and I brought my notebook out with me because I have a bunch of stuff written down and I want to make sure I get to everything. Talking off the cuff I might not be able to remember everything I want to get to. But the first thing is that I'm proud of myself, or that I'm happy about, is that I enjoy the small things in life. And I'm sure you know what I mean by that, but really what it comes down to is just the sights, the sounds, the smells, the world in general, people, animals, plants, food. There's so many things I appreciate about life, and I enjoy, and I have a keen sense for. And it's gone back all the way to childhood. I mean, I've mentioned in a previous video that I spent most of my childhood outside. And most of that time was either, out on my bicycle, going out, throughout my neighborhood. I mean, that was kind of a thing in the 80s. But another large portion of that was just exploring. There was a creek that ran through the neighborhood that I grew up in. There was a tiny little, undeveloped lots that were full of trees that were basically little mini forests that I'd have my little hideaways back in. And sometimes I would take some of my mom's seeds and try and start little gardens back there. But I spent a lot of time just in silence out in the woods, listening to the birds, listening to the wind go through the branches in the trees or the rustling of the grass. I take a lot of comfort in just the sounds of nature. And I want to be somewhere eventually where I can encompass myself within that, you know. Just all day long, I can hear these birds without the car driving past my house, or the plane flying over my house, or my neighbor mowing their lawn. Those small things I don't really appreciate so much, I guess. Something I mention a lot is my appreciation for just the sky in general. The stars, the moon, the clouds, the colors. But especially sunset or sunrise in the morning. There's something, see what I mean? There's something about seeing that just gives, it just starts my day off right if I catch the sunrise, especially if it's an ultra pretty one. And same thing with the sunset. It just sets the tone for the rest of my evening if I see a nice sunset, you know? And that's one of the things I lament about this house is I only get a little tiny corner on each side of my house where I can see the sunrise and the sunset. And things like when thunderstorms sweep in, I don't get to watch them come rolling in. I just get to experience them once they're over my house. And I kind of miss being in a place where I could experience that. Because that's another big thing. Is whenever a thunderstorm comes around, that's another big comfort blanket on me. Just hearing the thunder and seeing the wind sweep through the trees and the sheets of rain coming down. And when it comes to, there's sounds around here. Like late at night, there's 2 train tracks near my house. And they're pretty active. But late at night, when it's quiet, there's hardly any traffic going on. And you can hear the train horn off in the distance. And not just here, just my whole life, hearing that sound. There's something about it that just, I love that sound. The sound of a train horn far away. And it makes me think of a lot of other sounds. Like right now I can hear a mourning dove, cooing off probably over in the next yard. He's not too far away. But that's another sound early in the morning, hearing that cooing of a mourning dove. Or hearing an owl late at night. Or the sound of cicadas and crickets in the summertime, right as the sun's going down. Or when you're laying in bed and you can see the moonlight filtering in through your window. Or standing in the kitchen and looking at the dust dancing in the sunlight. And I think of, and that translates to people too. I think of all of the different kinds of people there are in the world and all of our intricacies. And I find them fascinating. I mean, the people that grew up in, let's say, India are completely different than the people who grew up in, let's say, the south side of Chicago. We both look at the world completely differently. And I like to figure out things from other people's perspectives. I like to learn about how they see the world, but I also like to learn their food. There's been so many different cultures of food that I've experienced in the last 20 years or so. And it's accelerated as I've gotten older. So many herbs and spices and vegetables and fruits, nuts that I never even knew existed. And there's so many more. And that's the one thing I love about YouTube is it's worldwide. I can find recipes from anywhere I want, from any culture, and just go to a local ethnic store. Luckily, I have that option and pick up the ingredients and give it a try. When I think of smells that bring me comfort, I think of rainfall, like right after a rainfall, the smell of a campfire. Oddly enough, the smell of skunk. It reminds me of summer, maybe. But I love the smell of skunk. Ever since I was a kid, I'm probably the only person I've met that loves that smell. Just in spring, when you start walking down the street and you can smell all the blossoms in the air. It's going to start soon. I think they're waiting for me to go inside. I think they're all waiting for me to go inside. I still got to get done with this hose, though. And after I tackle that, I get to start on my next task. Hopefully it won't take too long because I kind of want to get this whole porch swept up today. So, cross my fingers. So I've come to the conclusion that I need to buy a new garden hose and a new sprayer thing. That's what I get for just leaving it out there all winter, all tangled up like that, because it permanently stayed tangled, I think. Well, it was a cheap piece of crap to begin with. It always got kinked up last summer, drove everybody crazy, so all that work, it was for nothing essentially, other than I can get it off there easily when I throw it away. But I'm actually digressing because I'm in the middle of cooking dinner, and it's going to be another simple dinner. I'm just cooking frozen pizza again. Daylight savings time just totally threw me off my game today. I mean, I know it's only an hour, but it feels like a lot more than that. It kind of explains why Mom got up an hour late today, and just everything just feels like I'm running behind all day. As of right now, I think it's around, I'm coming up on like somewhere between 5:30 and 6. I can't see the time because I got the timer on the oven and I got the video going on the phone, but my live chat's coming soon, a couple hours-ish. And I have to admit that the anxiety, it's there. It's not so much an anxiety about meeting people now. It's more of an anxiety that, I don't know, maybe like the first few minutes will be awkward. And then I won't be able to get the thing going. So hopefully everything goes smoothly and all of my fears are just stupid. But anyway, while I'm waiting on this pizza, I thought I would talk about the last two things on my list real quick. There's two more. One is I'm a dreamer, and the other one is I'm open-minded. Now, dreamer, that kind of coincides with optimist, which was on my last list. I'm always optimistic about my future. I always dream about my future. I'm constantly coming up with schemes that I think are going to save me from my miserable 9-to-5 work life. And I just don't have the follow through for most of them. Some of them have been really good ideas, but I just don't have either the capital to ever consider doing it. Like when I was younger, I used to dream about making buying like a resort or something, like those places that have like a bunch of different cabins out in the woods, like in the Smoky Mountains or something. And then like taking each of the cabins and designing them like different themes. I can't remember specifically. I think I used to talk about like making them into different optical illusions or something. Like something. But I mean, this is 20s Shannon talking about this idea, but I don't know. And then the most recent one is I wish I could get like some type of business loan together and start like a small electronics manufacturing company, because both Will and I, we've been in this business for many a year. We know it inside and out at this point, but we just don't have the confidence, the capital. But I know we would be a success if we ever did anything like that. We cared so much about quality and customer satisfaction, and that's just not a thing in the industry these days. It's more just push, 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 get everything out as quickly as possible. Who cares about the quality? And it bugs me a lot everywhere I've worked in the last 5 years or so. So yeah, I'm just a dreamer. I dream about having a nice property one day. Dream about having my animals. I want some chickens so I can have some eggs, maybe some goats. I don't know. I don't know what I'm capable of, but yeah. The other thing on my list was that I'm open-minded. And that just comes along with, I just read a lot. So I'm very curious about a lot of things. I just want to know other people's perspectives about stuff. I like to know different cultures and the way they see the world. I like to learn about, all the different religions in the world and how they see the world. And just learning about that throughout history and how things have evolved. And when I say I'm open-minded, when it comes to like some type of debate, I'm willing to listen to some person's version of events without freaking out on them, or some person's opinion on things without freaking out on them, generally, unless they're like evil. I'm not going to go with evil. But yeah. So yeah, those are the last two things that I had on my list. I know it's not a whole lot to talk about, but and there's more things that I like about myself that I'm going to do in the future. And other little things like this. Like I would love to ask my mom what does she like about herself. Let's see if she's got anything. Maybe I'll ask her in her walk tomorrow. See if I can get anything out of her. But until my next video, since I got the live one coming up next, and I'm not sure this one won't come out before the live. There's no chance I can ever get that done in time. But hopefully I'll see you guys within, 24 to 48 hours. Thanks again for everything.